Hey guys, welcome back. So in our first half of this, if you didn't join us, we created a subclass for 5e, our commander subclass that we put together. And now we are going to work on a new sub-race of the gnome. So Dave, this was kind of your idea. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like what you're looking for, maybe why you think we should have a different gnome sub-race, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so why I've been deciding that is because not only of past editions and stuff like that, but as well as in the world of Merosia, there's a very distinctive theme going on within the stories that I'm running about this set of gnome scientists running about and causing trouble, and very, very secretive and very, very, I wouldn't say manipulative, but they are finding out through the various stories that they're highly intelligent and have a bunch of cogs and wheels turning within the storyline. So I felt that I wanted something more than just the rock gnomes, and I wanted something more than the other gnomes. I wanted something like, almost like a higher elevation, higher way of thinking, as well as something left over from the old world, which basically was great magic and great science and all that put together, and something left over from that, essentially. So where magic meets science is what I'm thinking. And where you can find that at within the Merosian universe is within Merosian space, within a place called Hominoptrum, the third moon within Merosia, which is in the smack dab middle of everything. It is a city within the city. Or city within the moon, basically, not city within the city, but you know. It is huge and weird and unusual and odd. But yeah, that's kind of the basis behind Astral Gnomes, basically. So.
All right, cool. So with this in mind, there's only a few trait options, essentially. Things that you have to come up with to make a sub-race, especially for the gnomes themselves. So I think the first thing is, are these probably more intelligent of gnomes than others?
Absolutely, yeah. Focus on more intelligence. They're not so, and the way I've been running them, they're not so much necessarily wise. I mean, they kind of throw wisdom to the universe and focus on intelligence more so than anything else.
All right, yeah.
They're more of a Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory than anything. So
yeah, that makes sense to me. And again, if you're using like the Tasha's rules, it doesn't really matter. You can move around your stats. But if you're just doing a straight 5e base thing, here's a +1 you can put into something, your intelligence score stat to go with. Well, what do gnomes, I should have double checked that. I don't remember. What do gnomes get normally? Is that intelligence or is it something else? Let's see. Gnomes gain. Intelligence is already increased by 2 as a gnome.
Oh, so there we go.
So that's just being a gnome. So what do we want? What would maybe that increase? Obviously not wisdom.
Yeah, dexterity, I think.
Dexterity.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Because you don't really want to. You can't really give a +3 to a score.
Which, unfortunately. I
mean, kind of could if you do the +2 to something and a half to give you the +1 in that, but we're trying not to make it too easy to kind of power game things here. All right, the first trait that you want to give them. They're already going to get the normal gnome things, so let's look at what they already get.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get their lifespan between 350 and 500 years. Mm-hmm. They're small. So they're between 3 and 4 feet and around 40 pounds. They have their 25-foot movement speed, 60-foot dark vision. They get their advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws against magic. They can speak, read, and write common and gnomish. So that's what a base gnome gets. Then you can look at the subclasses. They're going to get additional things on top of that.
Yeah.
So some of them are like situational stealth, like with the rock gnome or the deep gnome, and superior dark vision for them as well. Forest gnome gets a minor illusion cantrip and speaking with small beasts.
I almost like the idea that they know magic and can identify and detect it.
Okay, so they know magical items, they can identify and detect. So I guess here's which direction are we wanting to go here? Because they do have some of these subclasses gain spells based on whatever. Like the scribing one will get additional. Let's see, if you have the spell casting or the pack magic class feature, the spells on this table are added to the spell list of your spell casting class. So not actually ones that you get, but you get the option to take.
Okay. I like that.
Let's see, here are minor illusion for the forest gnome. So we could do some sort of cantrip for sure, and then we could do a addition to your spell list if you can cast spells already, or just trying to look and see how we can do that. I mean, there's some of those subclasses where it's like you can cast a certain spell once per day sort of thing naturally, and I could see that maybe.
Absolutely.
I guess then the question would be, what spell do you want to do? Identify or detect magic? Because aren't they the same spell level? Are they both first level?
I think so. I think they are first level spells. That's why I was thinking nothing too, advanced, but something within that category. So detect magic is
it's a first level spell, as is identify.
Okay.
So I mean, are we wanting to give them? I think one or the other.
Yeah.
Probably would be the best bet. But which way do you want to? Okay, so that you can choose to either know the identify spell and can cast it once per day, or the detect magic spell.
All
right. So I'm gonna put this as a second trait because that seems to be kind of like the more powerful of the two traits. So you know and have the ability to cast once per long rest, either by or detect magic. Choose. So basically, when you make your gnome, you have to know: do I want to identify, or do I want detect? What do you want to call that?
I almost think second intuition.
Okay.
I mean, that's the first thing that popped in my head. So,
as maybe we call it magical intuition.
Yeah, magical intuition's better.
It's okay. That's how this works, right? You spitball and we bounce off of each other. All right. So for the first level thing, what are you thinking? Are we thinking some sort of? Oh, so here's the thing. One of them already gets Rock Gnome gets the Artist for Lore, where they get double proficiency on history checks related to magical items, alchemical or technological devices. So obviously we don't want to give that. But that seems in the general vein of this. So is there something else that you're wanting to go about adding for the Astral Gnome?
I almost want to say a knack for knowledge, or where they can basically look at anything and take it apart and put it back together again how they see fit and make it better than what it was initially.
Okay.
Don't know exactly how to put that in.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm just trying to think. Because, the Rock Gnome also gets Tinker. So, which allows you to make little contraption things.
It's not so much make contraption things. It's more like, improve on what's already there.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So, trying to think about how to word it. My brain goes here to something based on maybe proficiency with tools and maybe a benefit of you can modify a technological device, but then you need to figure out a way to give it some sort of benefit that could be extrapolated out, maybe. Maybe do something similar to like the Artificer Armor, where you can pick like one thing to give it a like +1 or whatever. I don't know. I mean, like it's got to be limited, right?
Yeah.
So it's just got to be like limited to one item. But maybe you can give one item a +1 to hit, or +1 to defense, or if it's a vehicle, +5 feet of movement, sort of thing.
Yeah, or advantage on your next roll or something like that.
Well, because
what equipment is.
I think this should be like you're messing with something, twisting it around and modifying it to make it better. So I understand that it could be a lasting effect, but I think it should be a lasting on one item. You can do this sort of thing. You can't just everybody's crossbow. You're now going to give them +1 to 5 different crossbows, but it's like you can pour in some of your innate magical ability while you're re-putting it together to give one item a bonus. All right, let's do. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
So let's think of a better name. But for now, knack for mechanics.
Okay.
So you gain. See, with Tinker tools, they have bonus. You take rest your tools to modify. Now, what do we want to be able to do? Like, you can give something a +1 to hit, or +1 defense, or like +5 feet of movement. Whatever. You kind of got to give a little bit of an option, because if there's no vehicles in some setting, you don't want that 5 feet of movement to a vehicle to really pan out like that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was thinking advantage, but yeah.
Well, because like advantage would be a short. It would be on one thing.
That's true. Yeah, okay.
So my thought would be, because you can't give someone a lasting advantage for everything. That's way powerful. Right? So I'm thinking like, I mean, this is even powerful of giving somebody like one item a +1 to hit or +1 to defense can be pretty crazy too. So I'm torn on all of this as a racial, like ability thing.
Maybe they have an option where you can do either a +1 to hit, +1.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying.
No,
you pick one.
You pick one. Okay. Yeah.
But what options do we want to give? So you give that item +1 to hit.
Yeah.
+1 armor.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So my other thought was like 5 additional feet of movement.
Okay.
And this would have to be to a vehicle.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 feet of movement if we wanted to.
Yeah, I think 10 feet.
That is a good.
I was keeping them within the one thing.
10 additional feet of movement to anything else that we can think of that would make sense to give an option, or is that good enough? I mean,
well, I was
thinking +1 AC is good, but
so I mean, but that's weapons, armor, and vehicles. I was thinking also other equipment too. So like maybe it gives you additional proficiency bonus or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, so yeah, maybe it's a +1 to a skill check using that item.
Yeah.
So like you could use this on someone's thieves tools, and now they'll have a +1 in addition to their proficiency and dexterity.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's probably good. How far does that go before it cuts off? Additional feet of.
Just jump down over. Okay.
There we go. All right. So I didn't write down the description here, but so Astral Gnomes mainly found in illusion space.
Yep.
To what?
No, continue writing. I was just say there's a lot of big words that we have, but depending on what you write.
Yeah, I didn't want to put your crazy city because A, I'm not going to spell it right, and B, no one else is going to know. Even Merosian space, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Turning this on. Sign numbers. Agent are in whatever. That's good enough, I guess, to have that generally in place.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so there you go. There's an Astral Gnome for you. Just a little bit of differences, nothing crazy, but that is making a subclass too. It's not, they're all very close. Oh, how long does the bonus last? It can only have one effect. Let's see, did I not have it? Give one item a bonus when you take a short or long rest, or take a short rest using your Tinker tools to modify it. I guess short or long rest, right? I guess who cares?
Yeah, short or...
Do you want this to end? Let's say like it ends after, yeah, I think ending after 24 hours. So you got to redo it basically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, after 24 hours. Sounds right.
End after a period 24. Boosted item. All right. So yeah. That's better to clarify that. My thought was, yeah, you can only have one active at any given time, which I guess I should also just reiterate that. There can only be one of these effects active at any given time. Cool. And that way, it's very clear.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't want some gnome going around just basically boosting everybody's ships so that you have an entire fleet of, super fast ships forever for, a day. Cool. And then you got to redo it the next day.
Yeah.
I like it. I dig them.
Okay.
Right on. All right, guys. I think that's probably a good spot to end our Tuesday talks for today. We do appreciate those of you joining us in the chat. If you are seeing this later on YouTube, then awesome. Thank you for joining us there too. Please like, subscribe, tell other people about these things. If you get a chance to play any of these, please let us know how you like them. What didn't work even helps. Drop some comments, send us an email. You can find us at thexpguild.com, plus all the links below in whatever form you're watching this. We do appreciate it. This is, it's a fun little endeavor for us. It's a fun thought exercise with these things. We hope it helps you guys go out and create things of your own too that, now you've seen us do it a few times. It should be fairly easy for you now. I just noticed that this was cut off. To go back and do something similar with your own race ideas, with your own things. Just always look at other races, other classes, whatever you're creating, and try to get an idea of the power level. Sometimes you're going to hit spot on. Sometimes you're going to wildly miss. Sometimes you don't think of some crazy combo that someone could come up with, and sometimes that's okay, and sometimes it breaks the game. So if you notice any of those with us, let us know.
Yeah. And thank you so much, and see you next time.
Bye.